Hello, hello, hello. We are back for more fun in the sun. And what am I talking about? Well, remember when I keep telling you, oh, by the way, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to like it. This is important. Remember when I told you that it's not really what's really happening in the real life, it's what the indicators and what we think is happening because we look at certain numbers, right? So well, guess what? One of the numbers that we look at is the non-farm payroll. And basically it tells you how many jobs were created. I mean, that's an important number. Guess what? They were off. They were wrong. They were totally wrong. Let me put this guy on the side. They were wrong, right? They were off by 818,000 from 2 years ago. So that obviously that impacts the entire number. Now, keep in mind that the number we're looking for, is around 250,000 every jobs created every single month in the U.S. They said, sorry, we are off. Why do you care? Well, it highlights several things that are extremely important that you should understand. First of all, you need to realize that these numbers that you're being shown and for which we are making billion-dollar decisions are basically an estimate. It's not that like they went out and they asked all of them, hey, did you create a job today? Hey, did you create a job today? And they go that through all the businesses, which is about 60 million. No, what they do is they send a survey out to about 100 to 150,000. And based on that response, and they send that survey every month, based on that response, they're extrapolating to assume what it means for the whole country, for the entire 60 million. That's what they do. And after that, they're basically assuming that this is what we have. So the good news about this number is that you get to see it every single month. How many jobs did we create? How many jobs did we create? No, you could imagine the importance right now because of what's happening with the economy, right? With the elections. It's very important. So what are we doing with this number? Well, essentially, we're trying to extrapolate. The only thing is they were off. The way they extrapolated too much. Okay? So remember, we're already saying there's a story because we're here to see if we could take advantage of the market. There's a story out there basically saying that the economy is slowing down. And we say, well, yeah, unemployment went up from 3 to 4% more or less, but it's still there. We're creating jobs. Well, actually, wait a second. You're not creating that many jobs that you thought you were. That 818,000 basically saying that you are creating 25% less than you thought. Sorry. Now, remember, the people that come up with this number is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So they were off. And quite frankly, they have been off a few times recently. Happens to be election year. Who knows? Right? The point, they were off. So now, obviously, some people are saying, this is bad. This is really bad. Oh my God, we're going to have a recession. I told you. Now, of course, as usual, you need to make sure you understand who the players are. Because if you look at certain players on the right, they will tell you, we do have a recession. And this is kind of the theme that I'm always saying, when you hear, because unfortunately, most of you are looking for recommendation, prediction, what's going to happen? What should I do? That's okay. The only thing is you need to understand who it is that you're talking to. They may have, like I always say, they may have certain positions that you don't have. So for them, it may be a big deal. It may not be a big deal. In this case, because it's so politically driven, the people on the right are going to say, what the heck? Listen to this video, for example.
This is a huge foul up on behalf of the government, Stuart, but how do you see this revision?
Well, I think the rug has just been pulled out from under Kamala Harris. They've claimed an economic boom, and now we find there are 818,000 fewer jobs added than they claimed. That's a huge hit. How can you come out and say, hey, what a great economy we've got, when you're not quoting real numbers? They didn't add millions of jobs. They added a lot, but 818,000 fewer.
That says it all, right? This was a huge hit. This was bad. We're not going to make it. You see? I mean, yeah, it's a mistake. Yeah, it's lower, but I mean, it's 25%. Now, of course, on the other side, let's see what the guys, the actual people from the federal government, because they're over on the West Coast right now, and they're all discussing, and one of them actually reacted to this number.
Take the revision that we just looked at. That was not a surprise to us. We do early benchmark revision research at the Philly Fed, and we knew the number was going to come down. It went down a little more than we expected, but not by a lot. So things seem to be getting back into balance in a way that I think is good. Look, the number average, we were just talking about this, the average was still good.
174,000.
174,000.
242.
Go back to 2018, 2019. That was a really good number.
As you could see, it's not so bad. I mean, we expected it, right? So it's okay. All right. So now that I've explained to you what's going on, now that you understand that these are just estimates to play with, now that you understand that there are players pulling you this way, pulling you that way, because they want to tell you what it is that they're doing. And obviously it works their way. But what about you, the investor? How is that helping you? What do you really think is going on? Because at the end of the day, it's your money. This is where finance is great, because it's a quasi-science. I mean, imagine we had to operate on someone, right? And we're saying, all right, I think the brain is here. No, sorry. It's here. No, it's here. You wouldn't be allowed to operate in this environment, but yet here we're allowed to do it. So obviously, you got people making lots of money and people losing lots of money and people making no money at all. It's all over the place. And it's okay. You don't go to jail for that. At the end of the day, if this was brain surgery, you say, well, people died this time and people that lived there at the time and next time they die, you go to jail. And this is the approach that I have. This is why I want to bring science to a quasi-science environment. That is why I am here to educate you. That is what I'm always saying. Make sure whatever you do that you are always buying when everyone else is selling. Right now, it would appear to me that everyone is buying. Okay? What do you do with the information I just gave you? So fine, it's a fake number, whatever, and things are. Let me show. I will show you this chart that shows you the difference on a monthly basis, so you get a feel for it. So you can see the actual difference. But basically, they were off 25%. I mean, they had 25% less because after they go out and interview all these people, then they go out on a quarterly basis and they look at 60 million business, so they could actually see what happened. The only thing is, do you want to wait every quarter, or you want to know every month? So that's why it's important. That's why they're doing it. So if I'm looking at my trusted chart, I could see that the impact is basically looks like what's going to happen is, well, I mean, guys, you weren't so sure if you're going to lower rates. I think you were, right? So now with this added number that shows we're actually lower than we thought, and the Fed kind of said the last time, if the numbers looks a little lower than we thought, I would have done. That's okay. So the 25 basis points September 18 is definitely happening. Okay, it's definitely happening. The next thing that we think is going to happen is, well, then if that's the case, and we have seen unemployment going up a little bit, and the Fed seems to be always too late, so it would appear that we are actually going to lower the rates by 25%, maybe even more. In that case, it means that we have the ability to have, maybe we should be buying small caps, because maybe we need more than 25 basis points. Maybe we need, because it's a little bit worse than it is, and the Fed might realize, maybe 25 is not enough. We do a little bit more because we were off 25% in terms of how many jobs were created on a monthly basis. That's a big number. I mean, it's not 2%, it's 25, a quarter. I slap your face 4 times versus 3 times. I mean, I slap your face 3 times instead of 4. 3 is good. I don't want to be slapped 4 times, right? So the small cap could be the play, because the more you have rate cuts, the better it is for small companies because they rely heavily on interest rate financing, interest rates, all right? So what do you do? Well, then small caps will be interesting. Market is up. Maybe we do some calls as well, right? So it's fantastic. Wait. But what if we have the revision? That's a fact. What if we actually in the process of going to recession and these guys only do it maybe 25 and 50 bips? And you're out there, oh, it's time to go. Let me go for the small cap because after all, and the reason we want small caps, as I said previously, is because, their P's tend to be very much less, it's 36, the P ratio for the market. They may be 11, 12, so they haven't been looked at. And the big sevens have been bought. I mean, how much money can you pensibly make from NVIDIA? Right? At some point, they're going to say, that's it, it's too much. Now, of course, if we have a recession, then things are going to be much different. If we have a recession, now you are in the small caps. And of course, yeah, it's nice that the financing is much cheaper for me. But now I have a lot less customers. I am now in a recession. What can I possibly do? What is going to happen? So I think that is very important to understand. What else is going to happen? Well, you got to decide which camp you're going to be. Of course, you're going to say, but you know what? So what do we do? Well, you need to decide which camp you're going to be in. What's going on in the market right now? Let's take a look at it. Well, if I look at the market right now, the market is down about, 0.74%. What you should notice, that's important. What you should notice is the fact that the Russell is down, but just with it. That tells me that these guys and gals may be thinking that we're going to have multiple cuts, no recession, small caps are undervalued. Let's get into small caps. Maybe that's the way to go. Look at these numbers. They're almost, they're actually doing better than the S&P. I've been noticing that every single time I do a video. So, think about that for a second. Learn from this. Remember, it's not what's happening. It's not what you think is happening. It's not what's happening. It's what you think is happening, and now you could take advantage of it. That is important. That is the difference. Okay. So yes, obviously, if you take a look at my my portfolio, look at that. My put for the S&P is up 9% today, offsetting my loss of 4% on the call. You see, and this is the other thing that you have to think about. You want to make sure that you are always hedging yourself in some fashion, just in case you're totally off. Because right now the market is not going anywhere, quite frankly. The market is just wobbling around with news and trying to look for direction. Obviously, everyone is saying, okay, yeah, I know, NVIDIA is, we retraced back all our loss. So I think we've reached a new high. If we haven't, almost ready to reach a new high in the S&P. So we're all the way up there. Now everything is up. So every time you hear some news, like job creation today, it's a way to kind of reading what's going on, understanding what the market is telling you. And the market is not always easy on you. The market doesn't always tell you what's really going on. You have to find out. You have to find out what's happening. And that's the difficult part about this thing. Because obviously lots of people tell you lots of things. But why are they telling you all these things? Entertainment purposes? Fine, then listen away. But if it's not, then you need to make up your own mind at this point. You need to now, of course, remember, this is we're just thinking what the direction is. But in addition to that, you want to make sure that you have a portfolio that itself is good in terms of the names that are in there, right? You don't, on top of everything else, you don't want to have a name that has, a credit issue or can't pay its debt or nobody's buying the product, right? Because even if you have that, right, then you have to still worry about how much people are willing to pay for it. You could have a great company, right? But why is it that somebody is willing to pay? What do we have here? If I take a look at, let's take a look at a company that's doing great. Let me take a look. Let me show you my small caps, right? So I'm down 0.49%. Obviously, I'm beating the market again. Instead of being 0.79, I'm down, but I'm not that far down, right? Look at Powell Industry. Bingo, I'm up 3.61%. Now, the reason I want to bring this up is this name is up 3.96% again. Past 5 days up 7%. Past 3 months, past year 17%. This name is coming back. Okay, but that's not my point. The point that I'm trying to make is look at the P ratio. The P ratio is 17. That means that investors are willing to pay 17 times for each dollar of earnings from Powell Industries. Yet, for the market as a whole and, NVIDIA and all that, they're willing to spend $36 per name. Why are you willing to spend $36 for each dollar of earning for everyone else? And why are you only giving me 16 for Powell Industries? Why? Why not 17? Why not 33? You see what I mean? Do you see why it's a quasi-science? I mean, obviously, it's a great opportunity, right? Because, hey, listen, if you only have to do is if you go from 16 to 34, wow, imagine the gain. But what makes investors decide if you're willing to spend 17 times versus 34 times? It's very difficult. It's as if, you know what? It's as if, let's take the example of surgery, right? Somebody had just had a heart attack and we need to replace the heart. And we say, okay, we got to do something, people. 250,000 doctor comes into that room and say, I know what to do. Look, it's over here. No, let's over there. No, let's replace the heart. No, let's radiate. No, don't do anything. You're going to kill it. Remove the heart. Where's the heart? It's in the hand. No, it's in the head. You know what I mean? The patient will die, right? And so if you're the patient, you don't want to be the patient, right? This would never be allowed. But yet in the market, that's what we do. So the market is a patient. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. It live and die. So what do you do? How do you manage? Well, they will tell you, and I will show you this interesting chart, that the longer you stay invested, as you could see, right now I'm showing the chart, right? The longer you stay invested, the more you're likely to make money. Let me show you. What are you watching? Well, take a look at it. See, investing in the long term reduces the risk of negative returns. So as you could see on the left, if you invest for 1 year in 1977, or 2 years, or 3 years, or 4 years, right? You and these are the percentage of a month experiencing negative returns. So you could see in the red is the years where you're kind of having negative returns, So basically in 1 year, usually you have 11%, 12%, 11%, 8%, 5% on average, right? Well, over the future year, 0% negative returns. Just negative, like it doesn't matter what it is. It's just a negative. If it's -1, it counts as negative. You could see 1997, it goes up to the year, December 1998, June, it goes up and up and up. And as you could see, as we're going through the year, if you invested only 1 year or 2 years, it tends to be red, right? See the red? So 2004, look what happened in 2008. 2008 was a pretty bad year where basically, look at the left, boom, 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 lost a lot of money. Nobody makes much money on the right either. So everybody kind of, they don't say how much, it just says is it positive or negative, blue or red. And you could see, look at that. Mostly blue, definitely mostly blue beyond 9 year, 10 years. So therefore, it makes sense, right, to invest over the long term. You see, it goes on 2021. Obviously, if you're a 1 year investor, you're going to get hit. Okay? So the advantage, therefore, is for you to invest in the long term. But how much fun is that? You buy the thing, you invest it, and you wait and wait and wait and wait. On average, it's correct. You're going to have positive return. But what they don't tell you is the longer you calculate, the lower. If you look at the S&P return for 5 years versus 30 years, it's probably 15% versus 10. So yeah, the longer you wait, the less negative return you have, but the lower the return is as well. What we're trying to do in this channel is we want our cake and eat it too. I want to invest short term, make money. I want to hedge my portfolio, and I want to invest long term as well, but I don't want to lose money. I want to make money. But like everything else, you need to learn. That's what this channel is about. This channel is about helping you, teaching you, so you understand what is going on. First of all, it's important to understand what's going on. Second of all, what are your options? Should you be buying? Should you be selling? Should you be doing options? Should you be doing stocks? Lots of possibility.